Fun not formality, building connections through pause to play, the harsh reality of seeking dog advice on Reddit. My experience with Reddit's dog subreddits, the lack of connection and play. I joined Reddit during the Christmas holidays, thinking it would be a great place to connect with dog guardians, offer support, and see how people were navigating their training struggles. What I found instead was a chaotic, disheartening environment that left me feeling even more compassion for dog guardians who are simply trying to do their best. Within minutes of someone posting a question, they're bombarded with unsolicited comments, often numbering in the hundreds. Instead of constructive advice, many of these comments encourage guardians to behaviorally euthanize their dog, even in cases where training and veterinary care could help. There is nothing wrong with behavioral euthanasia when done ethically between a holistic team of professionals and veterinarians guiding the guardian. Not social media. Avid readers and long-time followers are already acutely aware of my stance, that no dog can be worked with or assessed professionally and ethically without a medical check first. For anybody new here, most people are shocked when we suggest a veterinarian check. However, Mills, et al., 2020, found 80% of dogs presenting with new behaviors were actually experiencing pain and/or unwellness. https www.ndpi.com 2076-2615 10-318. The emotional toll of social media and dog training misinformation. I'm fully aware of the risks of compassion fatigue and the toll social media can take on mental health. I pace myself, limit how much I read, and take breaks when needed. While some subreddits are draining, I do find comfort in others, particularly reptile care communities, which are entirely different in tone. They focus on education, welfare, and genuine support, which helps me recharge my goblin battery. But the reality is, all social media carries a level of harm when it comes to animal welfare. I've seen videos on Facebook that have given me nightmares. I've stepped back from TikTok because of the overwhelming flood of last-minute rescue videos, dogs moments away from euthanasia to make space for the next intake. Some days, I simply can't cope with it all, beyond supporting my clients, who are truly wonderful, dedicated guardians. Yet, on Reddit, the situation is even more extreme. Dog guardians seeking help are met with waves of harsh, often ill-informed advice that only deepens their struggles. The responses frequently encourage returning a rescued dog at the first sign of difficulty. Guardians are told to send the dog back with little consideration for the emotional toll this takes on both the dog and the human. Rehoming as the default solution. Instead of guidance on how to work through challenges, guardians are pressured into treating their dog as disposable. Punitive training methods. Advice like let them cry it out, rub their nose in their mess, or Galfa roll them still runs rampant, despite the overwhelming evidence against these approaches. And then there are the post titles, some of which are heartbreaking to read. My dog is ruining my life. This is not what I signed up for. The trainer said my dog is too far gone. Wanted a service dog for my child, but I want to send it back because it's reactive, after only 2 days in a new home. These statements aren't just words on a screen, they reflect real struggles, real emotions, and real dogs whose futures hang in the balance. And instead of receiving empathy, education, or solutions, these guardians are often met with shame, dismissal, or outright hostility. No one should feel alone in their journey with their dog. No one should feel like their only options are giving up or using methods that compromise their dog's welfare and potentially place themselves in danger because of the awful and terrifying advice. Even worse, Reddit's algorithm and moderation system ensure that certain voices dominate these conversations, voices that often lack qualifications or expertise. The problem with moderation on dog subreddits. One of the biggest issues I've encountered is how moderators enforce rules. Their strict guidelines don't actually protect guardians, instead, they actively harm them. Here's why. Professional advice is banned. Many subreddits delete comments from professional dog trainers and behaviorists, even when the information is evidence-based and helpful. This removes any opportunity for guardians to receive accurate, science-backed advice. I understand that much of this stems from the anonymity that Reddit provides, but personally, that doesn't concern me in the slightest. My Reddit username is MutsandMischief, and my profile is filled with posts I openly share, just as I do elsewhere. In response to the overwhelming misinformation, I've also created a subreddit called A Holistic Dog EDU, a space for those who want to learn within an ethical, holistic, and kind community. It's a place where guardians can seek guidance without fear of judgment, ensuring they and their dogs receive the support they truly deserve. I was banned on my first day for replying in the way I do as a Do No Harm dog training group moderator standard advice, with the claim that I was attempting to poach clients for personal gain rather than acting out of goodwill and charity. This couldn't be further from the truth. I've dedicated much of my career to helping dog and other species guardians for free. On top of that, I've been called ChatGPT 3 times simply for trying to help others. That particular comment stung, especially as an autistic person, and for a while, it made me withdraw from engaging as openly. Misinformation spreads unchecked. Because experts are silenced, posts become overrun with personal opinions and outdated methods, often causing more harm than good. Only high-karma users can comment on behavioral euthanasia posts. Moderators often restrict these discussions so that only users with a certain percentage of karma in that specific subreddit can participate. This means that the same voices, often with no qualifications, continue to dominate the conversation, reinforcing harmful narratives. This is also not based on being vetted, a professional, holding a degree, or anything which would deem a professional as competent to be giving advice. Instead, it is based upon upvotes and downvotes. So if a user comments to correct the dog if other users like the comment, so to speak, this user is then catapulted to a higher rank within the group to keep giving harmful advice. Reddit as a company claims that moderators do this to prevent spam and poor quality information, which is absolutely not correct. Serious medical emergencies are ignored. Instead of rushing their pet to the vet, many guardians post distressing images of severe injuries or illnesses, waiting for internet strangers to diagnose the issue. Seeing these posts is both emotionally draining and deeply upsetting, especially when the responses are riddled with dangerous misinformation. It becomes exhausting trying to keep up with these posts, repeatedly commenting "go to the vet immediately," only to be met with responses like, "they had a checkup," and "the vet said they were fine." When I then share research, such as Mills et al. 2020, to highlight why a deeper assessment might be needed, I either get dismissed, downvoted, or called ChatGPT. The emotional toll and the dilemma of staying. Being on these subreddits is exhausting. It's heartbreaking to see guardians being misled, shamed, or outright bullied when they're just looking for help. Every day, I see cases where dogs could thrive with the right support, but instead, they're pushed toward unnecessary suffering or even euthanasia. I've thought about leaving Reddit entirely. But if I do, who will be there to provide an ethical, compassionate perspective? The problem is that professionals who want to help are blocked from doing so, leaving dog guardians to fend for themselves in an overwhelming sea of conflicting opinions. I briefly encountered a veterinary ophthalmologist on Reddit who shared my frustration over the sheer number of posts about dogs' eye issues. He, too, tried to offer professional advice, only to be shut down. So why do people turn to Reddit for help? Because other social media platforms demand authenticity and transparency, which leaves them vulnerable to shaming, attacks, and trolling. I can absolutely see this from both sides, and that's where my empathy and compassion come in. It's all too easy to judge. I choose to stay because, at the heart of it, these guardians aren't dog professionals, they're scared, overwhelmed, and just looking for answers. If I can offer even a small amount of clarity or support, then it's worth it. This is exactly why I began doing this job full-time. Working in rescue, I saw firsthand the dogs who would have once been someone's Reddit question, a desperate plea for a glimmer of hope that things would work out. Instead, those dogs ended up scared, stressed, alone, malnourished, found on the streets, and ultimately confined to a 4x8 foot cell. I got into this role to prevent that. to offer hope, support, encouragement, and guidance before things reach the point of a dog being abandoned. Because once they're dumped and left to fend for themselves, their only chance is a rescue stepping in. And too often, those chances are heartbreakingly slim. And not all rescues are like Dogs Trust or those dedicated to providing dogs with fulfilling, enriched lives during their stay. Many are underfunded, overcrowded, and struggling to cope with the sheer number of dogs needing help. Some dogs will sit in kennels for months, even years, overlooked, misunderstood, and deteriorating mentally and emotionally. Rescue should be a last resort, not the first piece of advice given at the first sign of difficulty. Where to find real support? If you're struggling with your dog's behavior, please don't let Reddit or any other social media channel make you feel like you're out of options. You and your dog deserve help that is based on kindness, science, and real expertise, not the opinions of anonymous internet users. Instead, seek support from qualified professionals who will listen to your concerns with empathy, provide ethical, science-backed training and behavior strategies, help you understand your dog's emotions and needs, support both you and your dog without judgment. I've dedicated my career to helping guardians build better relationships with their dogs. If you're feeling lost, I have resources that can help. Zero to Hero Volumes 1 and 2, a holistic guide to understanding and supporting reactive dogs. Calm Canines, a practical guide to helping dogs with separation anxiety. Connected Care, a book on collaborative care, making grooming and vet visits less stressful for your dog. Which you can find here, https://studio.buymeacoffee.com extras. If you're looking for ongoing support, my All-Stars Game Club runs every Saturday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time via Zoom, a safe space for guardians who want to build strong, trust-based relationships with their dogs through fun and enrichment. Pay It Forward, helping dogs and their guardians. I offer a Pay It Forward service where people who can afford to donate towards a one-to-one behavior consultation can do so, either anonymously or have the opportunity to connect and see whom they have helped if the guardian agrees, or in direct contact with the recipient. This allows a guardian and their dog in need to receive dedicated, professional support, just like any paying client. I charge a reduced rate of £50, a 33% discount from my usual £75 fee, for these sessions, ensuring I can still provide the same level of care and attention while making behavioral support more accessible. I would love to work for free all the time, but like anyone else, I have to cover my living expenses, business costs, and continued education to keep providing the best care for the dogs I help. Your generosity helps me offer this service sustainably, making a real difference in the lives of dogs and their guardians. If you'd like to contribute and help another guardian and their dog, you can donate, insert donation link or method. Every contribution matters, ensuring that ethical, science-based training remains available to those who need it most. Thank you for being part of a community that believes in kindness, fairness, and ensuring every dog gets the support they deserve. If you're struggling and need guidance, reach out. You're not alone, and there are better answers out there than what Reddit has to offer. Also check out the following: Mutton Mischief Community Group, Do No Harm Dog Training Group, Pet Professional Guild, the Association of INTO Dogs, the Dog Welfare Alliance, ECAN, International Companion Animal Network, Freya Lock ACB.KSA Fun Not Fear in a Circle, KAD, Kids Around Dogs. The list goes on, but please don't ever feel alone. All of these groups and more are here to help with professionals of whom are vetted, qualified, experienced, accredited and assessed. So before you feel as though your situation is spiraling out of control, whether it's reactivity, fear-based behaviors, or simply learning how to support a newly adopted dog, my goal is to equip people with the tools and understanding they need to create lasting, positive change. Because no one should feel like their only option is to give up.